Welcome in. My name is Beloved, and today I am going to read to you from OSHO, Being in Love. The details of the book are in the comments. Well, they're not right now, but they will be. Just hang in there. I am just doing a quick sound check and we will get started. Let me see. Okay. Hmm. I'm waiting for my moderator to come in before I start reading so that I can get my sound check. I think I may have to do it myself, which is also okay. Just give me a moment. All right. I'm unsure. Okay. Actually, I did hear. So I think we're good. Smidge, you can just confirm that you can hear me, and we're going to get started. Good. I'm going to put up a video background, and you can let me know one more time if you can still hear me and it. Okay. Can you let me know if we're okay? Perfect. Thank you. Okay. Again, today I'm going to be reading from a book of Osho, and it is called Being in Love. This is the introduction. What is love? It is unfortunate that we have to ask this question. In the natural course of things, everybody would know what love is, but in fact, nobody knows. Or only very rarely does somebody know what love is. Love has become one of the rarest experiences, yet it is talked about. Films and stories are written about it, songs are composed about it. On the television shows, you will see it, on the radio, in the magazines. A great industry exists to supply you with ideas of what love is. Many people are involved in the industry of helping people understand what love is, but still, love remains an unknown phenomena, and it should be one of the most known. It is almost like somebody asking, "What is food?" Would you not be surprised if somebody came and asked you that question? Only if somebody had been starved from the very beginning and had never tasted food would the question be relevant. It is the same with the question, "What is love?" Love is the food of the soul, but you have been starved. Your soul has not received love at all, so you don't know the taste. So the question is relevant. but it is unfortunate. The body has received food, so the body continues, but the soul has not received food, so the soul is dead, or it is not born yet, or is always on its deathbed. When we are born fully equipped with the capacity to love and to be loved. Each child is born full of love and knows perfectly what it is. There is no need to tell a child what love is, but the problem arises because the mother and the father don't know what love is. No child receives the parent that he deserves. No child ever receives the parent that he deserves. Those parents simply don't exist on the earth. And by the time this child becomes a parent, he too will have lost the capacity to love. I have heard about a very small valley where children were born, and within 3 months, they all became blind. It was a small primitive society, and a fly existed there, which, a fly existed there which caused an infection and blindness in the eyes. So the whole community had grown blind. Every child was born with eyes that functioned perfectly well, but within 3 months, at the most, they had gone blind because of these flies. Now, somewhere later in life, those children must have asked, "What are eyes? What do you mean when you use the word eye? What is vision? What is seeing? What do you mean?" And the question would have been relevant. Those children had been born with sight, but they had lost it somewhere on the way of their growth. That's what happened to love. Every child is born with as much love as one can contain, with more love than one can contain, with overflowing love. A child is born as love. A child is made of the stuff called love, but the parents cannot give love. They have their own hangovers. Their parents never loved them. The parent can only pretend. They can talk about love. They can say, "We love you very much." But what they actually do is unloving. The way they behave, the way they treat the child is insulting. There is no respect. No parent respects the child. Whoever thinks of respecting a child is not thought to be a person at all. A child is thought of as a problem. If he keeps quiet, he is good. If he does not scream or cause any mischief, good. If he simply keeps out of his parents' way, perfectly good. That's what a child should be. But there is no respect and there is no love. The parents have not known what love is. The wife has not loved the husband. The husband has not loved the wife. Love does not exist between them. Instead, there is domination, possessiveness, jealousy, and all kinds of poisons that destroy love. Just as a certain poison can destroy your vision, so the poison of possessiveness and jealousy destroy love. Love is a fragile flower. It has to be protected. It has to be strengthened. It has to be watered. Only then does it become strong. And the child's love is very fragile, naturally, because the child is fragile. His body is fragile. Do you think a child left on his own will be able to survive? Just think how helpless the human child is. If a child is left on his own, it is not It is next to impossible that he survives. He will die, and that is what is happening to love. Love is left alone, unattended. The parents cannot love. They don't know what love is. They have never flown in love. Just think of your own parents and remember, I am not saying that they are responsible. They are victims just as you are victims. Their own parents were the same, and so on and so on. You can go back to Adam and Eve and God the Father. It seems that even God the Father was not very respectful to Adam and Eve. That's why, from the very beginning, he started commanding them, do this and don't do that. He started doing the same rubbish that all parents do. Don't eat the fruit of this tree. And when Adam had eaten the fruit, the father got so angry in reaction that he threw Adam and Eve out the garden. That expulsion is always there, and each parent threatens to expel the child, to throw him out. If you don't listen, if you don't behave, you will be thrown out. Naturally, the child is afraid. Thrown out into the wilderness of this life, he starts compromising. The child, by and by, becomes twisted and he starts manipulating. He does not want to smile, but if the mother is nearby and he wants milk, he smiles. Now, this is politics and the beginning of the ABCs of politics. Deep down, the child starts hating the parents because he is not respectful. He's not respected. Deep down, he starts feeling frustrated because he is not loved as he is. He is expected to do certain things, and only then will he be loved. Love has conditions. He is not worthy as he is. First, he has to become worthy. Only then will the parent's love be given. So, to become worthy, the child starts becoming false. He loses any sense of his own intrinsic value. His respect for himself is lost, and by, he starts feeling that he is guilty. Many times, the idea comes to the mind of the child, are these my real parents? Is it possible they have adopted me? Maybe they're deceiving me because there seems to be no love. 1,001 times he sees the anger in their eyes, the ugly anger on the face of his parents, and for such small things that he cannot understand, the proportion of anger caused by these small things. Just for very small things, he sees the parents' rage. He cannot believe it. It is so unjust and unfair. But he has to surrender. He has to bow down. He has to accept it as a necessity. By and by, his capacity for love is killed. Love grows only in love. Love needs a milieu of love. That is the most fundamental thing to be remembered. Only in the milieu of love does love grow. It needs the same kind of pulsation around. If the mother is loving, if the father is loving, not only to the child, if they are loving to each other too, if the home has an atmosphere where love flows, the child will start functioning as a love being and he will never ask the question, what is love? He will know it from the very beginning and it will become his foundation. But that doesn't happen. It is unfortunate, but it has not happened now, up to now. A child learns the ways of his parents, their nagging, their conflict. Just go on watching yourself. If you're a woman, watch. You may be repeating almost identically what your mother used to how your mother used to behave. Watch yourself when you are with your boyfriend or your husband. What are you doing? Are you not repeating a pattern? If you are a man, watch. What are you doing? Are you not behaving just like your father? Are you not doing the same nonsense that he used to do? Once upon a time, you were surprised. How can my father do this? And now you are doing the same thing. People go on repeating. People are imitators. The human being is a monkey. You are repeating your father or your mother, and that has to be dropped. Only then will you know what love is. Otherwise, you will remain corrupted. I cannot define what love is because there is no definition of love. It is one of those indefinable, like birth, like death, and like God, like meditation. It is one of those infallibles. I cannot define it. I cannot say that this is love. I cannot show it to you. It is not a visible phenomenon. It cannot be dissected, cannot be analyzed. It can only be experienced, and only through experience do you know what it is. But I can show you the way to experience it. The first step is get rid of your parents. And by that, I don't mean any disrespect towards your parents. No, I will be the last person to say that. And I don't mean you should get rid of your physical parents. I mean you have to get rid of your parental voice inside, your program inside, your tapes inside. Efface them, and you will be simply surprised that if you get rid of your parents from your inner being, you become free. For the first time, you will remain respectful. Every person feels resentful. Excuse me, I need to go back. For the first time, you will be able to feel compassion for your parents. Otherwise, not. You will remain resentful. Every person feels resentful towards his or her parents. How can you not be resentful when they have done so much harm to you? And they have not harmed you knowingly. They wished all good for you. They wanted to do everything for your well being. But what can they do? By just wanting something, it doesn't happen. Just by good wishes, nothing happens. They were well wishers, that is true. There is no doubt about it. Every parent wants the child to have all of the joys of life. But what can they do? They have not known any joy themselves. They are robots, and knowingly or unknowingly, deliberately or unintentionally, they will create an atmosphere in which their children will sooner or later be turned into robots. If you want to become a human being and not a machine, get rid of your parents, and you will have to be watchful. It is a hard workout. You cannot do it instantly. You will have to be very careful in your behavior. Watch and see when your mother is there functioning through you. Stop that, move away from it. Do something absolutely new that your mother could not even have imagined. For example, your boyfriend is looking at another woman with great appreciation in his eyes. Now watch what you are doing. Are you doing the same as your mother would have done when your father looked at another woman appreciatively? If you do that, you will never know what love is. You will simply be repeating a story. It will be the same act being played by different actors. That's all. The same rotten act being repeated again and again and again. Don't be an imitator. Get out of it. Do something new. Do something that your mother could never have conceived of. do something new that your father could not have conceived of it. This newness has to be brought to your being. Then your love will start flowing. So the first essential is get rid of your parents. The second essential is this: people think that they can love only when they find a worthy partner. This is nonsense. You will never find one. People think they will love only when they find a perfect man or a perfect woman. Nonsense. You will never find them because perfect women and perfect men don't exist. And if they exist, they won't bother about your love. They will not be interested. Sadly, the old man said what to do. She was looking for oh goodness. I'm so sorry. I turned the page and I skipped. I'm so sorry. What in the heck? Watch and see what your mother is there functioning through your eyes. Okay, I'm so sorry, guys. The second essential is this: people think that they can love only when they find a worthy partner. That is nonsense. You will never find one. People think that they will love only when they find a perfect man or a perfect woman. Nonsense. You will never find them because perfect men and perfect women do not exist. And if they exist, they wouldn't bother about your love. They would not be interested. I have heard about a man who remained a bachelor his whole life because he was in search of a perfect woman. When he was 70, somebody asked, "You have been traveling and traveling from New York to Kathmandu and Kathmandu to Rome, from Rome to London, and you have been searching. Could you not find a perfect woman, not even one?" The man became very sad. He said, "Yes, once I did. One day long ago, I came across a perfect woman." The inquirer said, "What happened? Why didn't you get married?" And he said sadly, what could I do? She wanted a perfect man. And remember, when two beings are perfect, their love need is not the same as your love need. It has totally different quality. You don't understand even the love that is possible for you. So you will not be able to understand the love that is happening to a Buddha or the love that is flowing from the thou towards you. You will not be able to understand it. First, you have to understand the love that is a natural phenomenon. Even that has not happened. First, you have to understand the natural and then the transcendental. So the second thing to remember is never be in search of a perfect man or a perfect woman. The idea too has been put into your mind that unless you find a perfect man or a perfect woman, you will not be happy. So you go on looking for perfect and you don't find it, and therefore you are unhappy. To flow and grow in love needs no perfection. Love has nothing to do with the other. A loving person simply loves, just as an alive person breathes and drinks and eats and sleeps. Exactly like that. A really alive person, a loving person loves. You don't say, unless there is perfect air, unpolluted, I'm not going to breathe. You just go on breathing, even if it's in Los Angeles. You go on breathing. In Mumbai, you go on breathing everywhere. Even when the air is polluted and poisoned, you go on breathing. You cannot afford not to breathe just because the air is not as it should be. If you are hungry, you eat something, whatever it is. In a desert, if you're dying of thirst, you will drink anything. You will not insist on having a Coca Cola. Anything will do. Any drink, just water, even dirty water. People are known to have drunk their own urine. When one is dying of thirst, one does not bother with what it is. One will drink anything to quench the thirst. People have killed their camels in the desert to drink water because camels store water inside of them. Now, this is dangerous because now the person will have to walk for miles, but they are so thirsty that first thing comes first. First the water, otherwise they will die. Without water, even if the camel is still there, they're going, what are they going to do? The camel will have to take a corpse to the next town because without water, they'll die. A alive and loving person simply loves. Love is a natural function. So the second thing to remember is don't ask for perfection. Otherwise, you will not find any love flowing in you. On the contrary, you will become unloving. People who demand perfection are very unloving people and neurotic. Even if they can find a lover, they demand perfection, and the love is destroyed because of the demand. Once a man loves a woman or a woman loves a man, demand immediately enters. The woman starts demanding that the man should be perfect just because he loves her, as if he has committed a sin. Now he has to be perfect. Now he has to drop all his limitations. Suddenly, just because of this woman, now he cannot be human. Either he has to become superhuman or he has to become phony, false, and a cheat. Naturally, to become superhuman is very difficult, so people become cheats. They start pretending and acting and playing games. In the name of love, people are just playing games. So the second thing to remember is never to demand perfection. You have no right to demand anything from anybody. If anybody loves you, be thankful, but don't demand anything because the other has no obligation to love you. If somebody loves you, it is a miracle. Be thrilled by the miracle. But people are not thrilled. For small things, they will discover all possibilities of love. For small things, they will destroy all possibilities of love. They are not interested much in love and joy of it. They are more interested in other ego trips. Be concerned with your joy. Be utterly concerned with your joy. Be only concerned with your joy. Everything else is non-essential. Love has a natural function just as you breathe. And when you love a person, don't start demanding. Otherwise, from the very beginning, you are closing the doors. Don't expect anything. If something comes your way, feel grateful. If nothing comes, there is no need for it to come. There is no necessity for it to come. You cannot expect it. But watch people. See how they take each other for granted. If your wife prepares food for you, you never thank her. I'm not saying that you have to verbalize your thanks, but it should be in your eyes. But you don't bother. You take it for granted. That is her work. Who told you that? If your husband goes and earns money and you never thank him and you don't feel any gratitude by saying that's what a man should do, that's your mind. How can love grow? Love needs a climate of love. Love needs a climate of gratitude and thankfulness. Love needs a non demanding atmosphere, non expecting atmosphere. This is the second thing to remember. Pause one moment. and back. And the third thing is, rather than thinking how to get love, start giving it. If you give, you get. There is no other way. People are more interested in how to grab and get. Everybody's interested in getting, and nobody seems to enjoy giving. People give very reluctantly. If ever they give, they they give only to get, and they are almost businesslike. It is a bargain. They always go on watching to make sure they get more than they give. Then it is a good bargain, good business, and the other is doing the same. Love is not a business. Stop being businesslike. Otherwise, you will miss your life and love and all that is beautiful in it, because all that is beautiful is not all businesslike. Business is the ugliest thing in the world, a necessary evil, but existence knows nothing of business. Trees bloom, it is not a business. The stars shine, it is not a business. And you don't have to pay for it. Nobody demands anything from you. A bird comes and sits at your door and sings you a song, and the bird will not ask you for a certificate or some kind of sign of appreciation. He has sung the song and then happily flies away, leaving no trace behind. That's how love grows. Give and don't wait to see how much you can grab. Yes, it comes. It comes a thousandfold, but it comes naturally. It comes on its own. There is no need to demand it. When you demand, it never comes. When you demand, you have killed it. So give, start giving. In the beginning, it will be hard because your whole life you have been trained not to give but to get. In the beginning, you will have to fight with your own armor. Your molecular has become hard. Your musculature, has become hard. Your heart has become frozen and you have become cold. In the beginning, it will be difficult, but each step will lead to a further step, and by, the rivers start flowing. First, get rid of your parents. In getting rid of your parents, you get rid of society. In getting rid of your parents, you get rid of the civilization, education, and everything because your parents represent all of it. You become an individual. For the first time, you are no longer part of the mass. You have an authentic individuality. You are on your own path. This is what growth is. This is what a grown up person should be. A grown up person is one who needs no parents. A grown up person is one who needs nobody to cling to or lean upon. A grown up person is one who is happy in his aloneness. His aloneness is a song, a celebration. A grown up person is one who can be with himself happily. His aloneness is not aloneness. His solitariness is solitude. It's meditative. One day you had to come out of your mother's womb. If you had remained there longer than 9 months, you would have been dead. Not only you, but your mother would have also died. One day you had to come out of your mother's womb. Then one day you had to come out of your family's atmosphere, which is another womb, to the school. Then one day you have to come out of your school atmosphere, another womb, to go into a larger world. But deep down, you are still a child. You are still in the womb. Layers upon layers of womb are there, and that whole womb has to be broken. This is what it is in the East. We call it the second birth. When you have attained the second birth, you are completely free of parental impression. And the beauty is that only such a person feels grateful to the parents. The paradox is that only such a person can forgive his parents. He feels compassion and love for them. He feels tremendously for them because they have also suffered in the same way. He is not angry, not at all. He may have tears in his eyes, but he is not angry. He will do everything to help his parents to move forward such a plentitude of aloneness, such a height of aloneness. Become individuals. That's the first thing. The second thing is don't expect perfection and don't ask and don't demand. Love ordinary people. Nothing is wrong with ordinary people. Ordinary people are extraordinary. Each human being is so unique. Have respect for that uniqueness. Third, give and give without any condition. Then you will know what love is. I cannot define it. I can show you the path to grow it. I can show you how to put it in rose bush, how to water it, how to get fertilizer to it, and how to protect it. Then one day, out of the blue, comes the rose, and your home is full of the fragrance. This is how love happens. Guys, I think I'm going to stop here. Um, the next time I come on, I'm going to read part one, The Journey from Me to We and Beyond Dependency and Dominion. I want to go bit by bit through this book, and I don't want to take up too much time. So I thank you all for coming and listening, and I will see you all later. Thanks, guys.